Hello, hello, Leo. Welcome to your April 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Leo. I'm going to pull these oracle cards, and while I do that, go ahead and pay attention to anything that's coming up in your body. If any information you'd like to request today, go ahead and do that now. Okay. Now I'm going to lay these out and then we will get into the reading. Okay, so I have this mindfulness deck, but I don't want to shuffle these normally, so okay, insight and awareness is coming up as being the category for you. Here we go. Okay. Notice connections is what this says. It's probably really not coming up on camera. Cultivating insight is all about understanding the connections between things. But before you can understand connections, you have to see them. Whenever you see something interesting happening in your experience, practice looking for related connections. For example, if you're distracted by something while you're working, try recalling what emotion you felt just before the distraction. Or when you feel a sensation in your body, notice what distinguishes the sensation from all the sensations you don't normally notice. This practice of noticing will illuminate the connections between your mind, body, and experiences. Yeah, so just staying really connected with your body this month is super important, especially when it comes to habits. Don't forget, if there's something you do that doesn't make you feel good, pay attention to that. And if something makes you feel really, really good, keep doing that. Now, the animal card for you is kangaroo. The word adaptability is coming up. I don't know why, but this just looks like being able to incorporate some levity, some buoyancy into whatever it is that you're doing on a day-to-day basis is going to be really helpful. The word of the month for you is experience. Acknowledge what it took. Be patient with new endeavors. Some paths need time to unfold. It doesn't matter what time you arrive to the party. The future is waiting and you're ready now. Really self-explanatory. But whatever it is that resonated with you on that card is the message that really you needed to hear. So central energy for Leos in April is the World. Let me clarify this because this is like a card that can seem like it's all over the place. I want to pull the crossing energy first. So we have 9 of Cups. I think there's something about this that feels like a final step, or like some things coming full circle, coming to completion before you can have that success. So it's kind of like not all of the steps are completed yet. Like you still have a little bit of time on the journey, or there still needs to be a few things need to take place first in order for you to get that success, or get that thing, or get that relationship, or get that promotion, or whatever it is that you're trying to cultivate. And so the 9 of Cups is about that wishes fulfilled, dreams coming true, but the World is about cycles that really need to run their course in order for you to either get all of the information you need out of a situation, or in order for you to be in a position to receive it. So that's the other thing, is you might not realize that you're not in a place where you're available to receive the thing that you've asked for. And so that's where you have to trust divine timing a little bit more, because if you are trying to force something or manifest something prematurely, it's not going to stick to you. It'll end up getting lost. So make sure that you're being really gentle with yourself on that. Now, what's shifting out for you this month is the High Priestess. Let me clarify this one. Wheel of Fortune. So this actually looks like your energy is really scattered. So this is coming from a place of like being all over the place, or having a lot of information but not knowing what to do with it or how to proceed and move forward with it. That's the other thing with the High Priestess, is the High Priestess has access to a lot of information, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're doing anything with it, or that it's action inspired. It just means that you have the information. So that information is, I mean, it can be helpful, but it can also be kind of confusing and frustrating. So this is where you want to shift into, what have you gained from the experiences that you've had? Acknowledge what it took. That's the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune, is kind of that empty, scattered space, or that feeling really discombobulated or disconnected is attached to the experience that you've been gaining. Like sometimes you just receive information over and over and over again without any of it really materializing. So that is where I'm getting like, this could actually be a place of friction for you, where you're like frustrated with this process. And so this is just reminding you, hey, you have the Nine of Cups. When the Nine of Cups is on the table, it's kind of like that whole thing that you're wanting is knocking at the door, but it's just about not getting too frustrated or wrapped up in the timing. The oncoming energy is the Six of Swords. This is the moving on card. So moving towards dry land. But remember, the Six of Swords still indicates some of that unsteady, turbulent waters. Like that's one of the things that this card reminds me of, is like, it's not over. You're not done. It's not complete. There's a lot of incomplete stuff going on here. And I think the issue is that you have a bunch of information, but it's not materializing yet. And so that's one of the craziest things, especially if you're highly intuitive, like being able to read it out in the astral, but then not being able to see it in the physical, is a really big place of irritation with a lot of intuitives. So this is just showing you like, hey, you have all the information, just, you know, I would actually recommend maybe taking a break. If you're just in constant download state, maybe take it easy on that and try to loosen up on getting that info, because it might make you more frustrated. Just do it in a responsible way that works for you. And then trust that I'm seeing that probably through April and more than likely May, you're going to be dealing with this transitionary or this transitional period. Outward manifestation, Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to clarify this one. And I know the Wheel of Fortune can't pop up again in this deck because it's already on the table. Eight of Coins. So at your discretion, the Wheel of Fortune came up because it's about, what do you want to put energy into? Like, what are you bringing to life? Where are you putting your efforts? Where are you putting your energy? That's what the Eight of Coins is about, is taking all the energy that you have and figuring out what to do with it. So in terms of the way it's going to manifest for you is directly related to how much energy you're giving that thing. So you could be in a space this entire month where all you're doing is resting and recharging your battery. You could be in a place where you're just drilling into your career or school or whatever, but it's kind of fair game, just because it's like, what do you want to grow? What do you want to develop? And that would be the best use of your energy. So it's not defined yet. Make sure you define this for yourself. Like, set your intention for April, you know, have something to focus on for yourself. That's going to be really helpful. And then in the subconscious, we have the 10 of Cups. Things are going much better than you might be realizing. I think this is probably going to feel like a more optimistic month where you're really able to see things through And it seems like I said, with the adaptability and buoyancy that you're experiencing this month, I see that as really being built on this Ten of Cups energy. Is kind of like you're able to see a whole bunch of different angles, but in terms of how it's manifesting in the physical is going to be a combination of, one, you maintaining your belief as well as applying your energy only in the areas that are worthwhile to you. Advice for you this month is the Three of Coins. Remember that it takes effort, and sometimes if you're trying to do something new, or if you're in the middle of an uncomfortable situation that requires you to do a lot of growing and healing or push against your natural tendencies, remember that it's not gonna feel easy. Although you can invite ease, you can ask for things to be easier, and there's a certain layer of needing to get past your brain, because your brain doesn't want to make any changes, it doesn't want to do anything differently, so you have to constantly remind yourself that just because your brain doesn't want to do it doesn't mean you shouldn't or that you can't. The problem is that a lot of people don't challenge their brains. They just kind of say, oh, well, my brain is resistant to this, so I'm going to give up. Don't be that person. Like, really notice like what's good for you, what feels right for you, but remember that your brain might actually want to fight against that because if that's not what it's comfortable with. So it takes effort. You have to remember that. Hopes, no, not hopes and fears, external influences. We have the Knight of Wands. I'm going to clarify this one. I'm just not entirely sure if this is a person. Whoops. I'm not reading that one, by the way. Ace of Cups. Okay, so this is like a new connection, perhaps. Obviously, those of you that are looking for love relationships, that's a great card to have pop up, but for those of you that are not looking for love relationships, it's not necessarily romantic. It's more of like this person looks like a helper, like someone who can support you or someone who has lots of ideas. Also, this person's definitely going to be running a lot of masculine energy. This is not reading as feminine at all to me. So that's the other thing that it looks like the Knight of Wands is bringing to the table, is a lot of that divine masculine. So the Ace of Cups is also a reflection of self-care. So it could actually be something like a partnership or a support or some type of connection that enables you to do more of that if need be. Hopes and fears for April. Six of Wands could be hope for success and fear of success. Both of those come up for people. So it's just like, which side of the spectrum are you on? Are you like gunning for that thing you're really craving and that you're really wanting? Or is it something where you're a little bit shy and reserved in terms of what you're willing to receive? So this is pretty standard stuff. I just see this as you really needing to be patient this month. The outcome of April for you, Leo, is the Seven of Cups. Yeah, to me, your energy still doesn't look cohesive. Like, I don't think it's going to be flowing in one direction. I think you're going to be still pretty scattered or spread thin. And I think you're just going to have to slowly incorporate or fine tune or figure out where your top priorities are. Just make adjustments, figure it out. Don't expect immediate, because remember, this is a month reading. Like, this is 1 month out of your entire life. So I kind of see this as like you figuring out where you want your energy to go. It seems like it's still pretty scattered right now and you're still kind of waiting for things to roll in. And so this is kind of like a waiting game for you this month. But I really want to emphasize, acknowledge what it took, acknowledge the experience that you have had up to this point, because it's setting you up. It's setting you up for whatever it is that you're looking to receive. All right, let's get into the timeline. First, second, third, and fourth quarter. No, I don't break it up into weeks because time is fluid. So let's see what the first quarter is. We have the Three of Cups. So maybe you have a lot of activities, a lot of fun stuff to do, playing, having a good time, hanging out with friends. It looks actually pretty relaxed here in the beginning of the month. Second quarter, we have the Magician. This is when you can really start setting your intention for manifestations and the things that you're wanting. Great time to like go into doing vision boards and journaling and meditating on what you want, or visualizations. Start doing a little bit more of that, or exercising that, because it seems like the energy during the second quarter is super potent. So that'll work well for you. And then third quarter, we have the Knight of Swords. Okay, so there's a little bit of like a need to do things your own way, or like just move at your own pace and do things that work for you. It's a strong card that's just reflecting like you doing things your own way. So I think there's a little bit of you needing to go against the grain, or, you know, this could also be challenging yourself, or also if you've been given any crappy advice, you know, you'll be able to filter it out. So crown chakra ownership is big with this card too. Not necessarily needing to buy into what everyone else is saying, but reminding yourself of what's best, right, and true for you may not be best, right, and true for someone else. Now the fourth quarter, so wrapping up April, we have Temperance. So finding a little bit more of that flow state. Like really, what is a good pace for you? And I want to move you away from the idea of balance, because it's just, I feel like balance is a myth in a lot of ways. Like balance is defined differently by everyone, and not everyone is balancing the same things. And so this is more about flow and presence. Like, where are you being truly present? Where are you feeling your energy flowing best, and in what context? That's also notice connections. That's big. I think by the end of the month, you're really recognizing, when I do this, I feel better. So this is when I can truly get into that flow state. And you know, and then also noticing blockages or things that maybe make it harder for you to achieve some of that. All right, let's do a 3-card pick. You're welcome to ask a question, ask for guidance. This is an oracle deck, not a tarot deck, so just keep that in mind. Okay, card number 1. We have Inside Looking Out. So I think that this might actually be inviting you to look inside instead of looking out. You might be overly focused on the external. Same thing with like overly concerned or fixated on a specific thing you're trying to make happen, when in reality, the better way to manifest or get that thing is to tune up internally, and then you're going to see it roll in from the outside. Okay, card number 2, predictions of growth. This is, so big growth month. This is also why it's transitional, or it's a transition month. It's not a I don't know how else to explain it. It's like not a solid month. You have the Wheel of Fortune twice and the 7 of Cups. Like, it's just, there's a lot that's still up in the air. And the 6 of Swords and the oncoming energy is just kind of like, you're going to have to grow. But remember that where you put your energy, where you put your focus is what's going to expand. And that's also what you can really use in order to head in the right direction for you. So, yes, growth month. Just don't expect it to be fully completed by the end of April. Okay, like be be realistic. Like, growth takes a while. It takes some time, and figuring things out also takes time. So there's a lot that you're defining this month for yourself. It's not something that's stationary even on the table. It's like a lot of this stuff that's coming up is super flexible. And so you can actually use that as a way to kind of feel into that space and set your intention. All right, card number 3, we have Cosmic Exploration. New perspectives, new ideas, and this is also about challenging your thinking. Because cosmic exploration, I mean, think about how that even begins, right? In order to explore, you kind of have to ask the question, what else is there? What else is beyond my perspective? What's beyond the place where I'm looking at this in present time? And when you ask yourself that question, you're really able to come into a place where you recognize, you know, what you've been thinking is not all there is. There's a whole lot of other information out there. And so this is a great time and a great month to, like, if you have a lot of personal biases, read a bunch of information about the opposite perspective. And it can actually help you see your own perspective and your own biases more clearly. It's kind of like witness yourself through contrast. And that's going to be really helpful to push your growth as well. All right, Leo, thank you so much for stopping by and spending some time with me today. I appreciate each and every one of you more than you know, and very special thank you to each and every one of you who works with me one-on-one. I absolutely love working with all of you. So if you are wondering what decks I used, or how to work with me, or what my Patreon is, all the info is in the description box. And until next time, have a lovely April, everybody, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.